Alright, so we've imported our CAD drawings and now we want to start making walls. But I want to show you at least the origin of what we're starting from, what I started from and where we're working towards, and talk a little bit about that. So highlight this. This is the Ara house, and so it's an infill house in Tokyo, and it actually has a sort of complex blended roof situation and wall situation. We're going to start out making an orthogonal version and sort of talk about how to get to the more complex forms that are in this building. But I wanted to show you a little bit of what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be building, first of all, these outside walls, but orthogonally in the beginning. And this has a canvas roof. You can see it there in place. There's the entryway. And then there's a nighttime view of what it looks like. And there are the plans that we've already imported. There's a section through it, and then an elevation, and then a sort of a little exploded and massing model that we'll look at how to make as well. So that's sort of where we're heading, and eventually you'll be modifying this to make it your own and adjust the walls and the structure and everything and do some design of your own to make it unique. Alright, so I'm going to minimize that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a wall that represents this exterior, these two exterior walls. And what I'm going to do is, if I zoom in on this elevation a little bit, we're going to make a wall that's based at level 1 and goes all the way up to roof. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this guy. So basically in this plan, the section cut, those walls, this is representing the curved walls, but we're just going to make one big wall that is not curved. So we're going to start where the walls are in elevation, as you would see them sloping down from the 4-foot cut, but we're going to make a wall from here all the way back there. So the first thing you're going to do is go to Architecture and Wall. And in the pull down type selector, I'm sorry you can't see it because it's flipping up because of the size of my screen. But what I want you to pick is the generic exterior 12-inch wall. So if you pick that, right, you should see this in your type selector. And you want the location line to be finished face exterior. You can change that here in your properties, or you can change it here in your options bar. We want the height to be not unconnected. We want it to go up to level roof, right? And so what I'm going to do is come in here and pick the outside, the exterior side of this wall. And you can see it's drawing the wall on the outside, and I actually want it to be the other way. So I'm going to hit my space bar. It's going to flip that wall. And I'm just going to zoom out and zoom in on this end down here and left click at the end of that wall. And you're going to see, I'm going to hit escape to stop that. And you're going to see over here that it has drawn that wall, right? And it has restricted it up to the level roof. So it's drawn it from level 1. And if you pick that wall again, as I mentioned in the intro, the base constraint is plan 1 and the top constraint is up to level roof. Now we have a couple options. We could draw the wall over here as well, or we could pick it and we could go to the mirror command up here, pick axis, and we drew that reference plane that is in the direct center of this building. So you can just left click on that reference plane and it will flip that wall over to there, so you don't need to draw it. And now if I go to a 3D view, right, you'll see that I have my two walls and they're both restricted to level roof. So if I were to move level roof or level 1, the top and bottom would move with them. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go in and put some walls, interior walls, well, some more exterior walls like these, and some interior walls in. So you can come in and if you want to, you can dimension how big these are. So for example, there's a measure here in your quick access toolbar, and if I go and I can pick that and pick that, and it will tell me that's a 9-inch wall. And if I hit escape, I can pick that, and it will tell me it's a 6-inch wall. So these are both exterior walls. So we'll go back to the wall command, and we will go in, and I'm going to pick the exterior 6-inch wall, and I'm going to check my location line as finished face exterior, so I'm going to pick the exterior of this guy, and it's on the wrong side, so spacebar again. Then I'm just going to draw to the end of it. Okay. You'll notice I put a 6-inch wall in where there's supposed to be a 9-inch, but that's okay. We'll change it in just a second. I'm going to hit escape. Then I'm going to draw this wall in, and I'll start from over here out on the outside and draw to the left till I get to the end of that wall right there. And then I'll hit escape twice to stop that command. Now I want this to be a 9-inch wall. One thing I want you to notice is that when I pick this wall, one of the instance parameters is finished face exterior, right? So it's justifying on the exterior face of that wall. So if I come into my type selector and I pick the generic exterior 9-inch, it's going to grow towards the inside of that. So it's actually growing from there. If we had justified it using the center of the wall, it would have grown equally on either side. So there are lots of internal sort of constraints that are going on. Okay, so let's pick that wall and let's take a look at what it's doing. Right now it's going up to level roof, right? So if I were to go to my 3D view and I would spin around and look at that, you're going to see those walls, but they're going way up to level roof and we don't want them to be up there. So I'm just going to see if I can get them to pick that wall. So if I pick that wall, and let's see if I can get it to tab select in and pick that wall, holding down the control key to get both of them. And see how it says up to level roof? I'm going to go down here and I only want it to go up to level plan 2. So if I click on that, it'll now restrict those walls to plan 2. So I'll close this guy and then I'll come in and draw these walls in. So I'll just go ahead and go to the wall command and I'm going to pick a generic interior 5-inch wall. And I'll left click on that. And we can leave, right now it's wall center line, and we can leave this one at wall center line. And it actually will find the center between the AutoCAD lines, which is pretty interesting. So if I left click and draw out left click, and then what you want to do when you're drawing is you want to just go right through the doors. So if you see doors or things, just go right through them and then left click when you're done. And I'll go to modify to stop that command. Now let's pick those and let's see where they're going. The constraint is up to level plan 2, so those are correctly set. So I'm just going to go ahead and I could go to the wall command again. You notice that if I hit thin line here, TL, this is not quite right. This is probably supposed to be a 6-inch wall. So I could pick that. I could go to my type selector, and if there were a 6-inch wall, I could pick it. But there's not an interior 6-inch wall. So what I can do is if I pick this wall and I go to edit type, I can duplicate it and make a 6-inch wall. So I'm making a new type here by duplicating. And I'm going to rename it to interior 6-inch. Click OK. I'm going to go to the structure and I'm going to change that to a 6-inch wall. And click OK. And click OK. And now you'll see this is now an entirely new type of wall, distinct from the 5-inch wall that I put in here, right? Okay, so now I could, do a couple of things. I want to draw some more 5-inch walls across here. If you don't want to go to the wall command and sort of search for the 5-inch wall, you can always select one that is the same type that you want to do, right click on it, and you can go to create similar, which is right here. And now it's going to create the same kind of wall, and you can just draw in. I'm going to hit escape once to start a new wall, right? And you can just draw in those walls there. Now this one's a thicker wall, so I'm going to go ahead and I think it's a 9-inch wall. So I'll go to architecture wall, And under the pull down, there's a generic interior 9-inch wall. And so I can go from the center, or maybe I'll go from the wall finished face exterior, which would be that. And I'll hit the space bar. So oh, I didn't quite get it right. So let's see if I can get it right there. Right, hit the space bar so it's justifying correctly, and just draw into that, and then hit the escape. And you'll notice it's cleaning up all the walls in plan, right? So those are all sort of the basic walls. So if I go to my Plan 1 schematic, right, that's what I've got. I've got basically all those walls in, right? And if I go to my 3D view, right now, and sort of spin around, I've got all those walls in on the first floor. Okay, then when we come back, we'll put in the curtain walls and adjust them.